What's up, ladies and gentlemen? It's Brendan and I'm Digimon X-Five, and today we're coming at you with another video. We have a battle report update, the Digimon TCG. We just played in the PPG games Ultimate Cup, February 8th. This video is going to be going up, I think, well, tomorrow, February 9th. Try to get it up as soon as we can. That way it's really relevant. And I piloted my Gallantmon X antibody deck to a abysmal 133rd place, unfortunately, with a record of I don't even know if I want to answer this, with a record of 3 wins, 1 tie, and 5 losses. I did not do well, everyone. I did not do well at all, but it is what it is. I had a lot of fun. There were some really good matches. I really enjoyed playing the deck. There's some things I've figured out. So we're going to do what we usually do. We're going to talk about the deck, how the deck played. We're going to talk about things I would change up. And we're going to talk about the matchups and kind of where I'm going with this. I'm really hoping to get another Rise Greymon because I won 2. So I'm hoping to get top 32 again. Rise Grey is all I need because I did do a couple top 64s last format, so I'm basically just looking for those Rise Greys. So I'm hoping to get at least one on the February 22nd one would be really great, and then I gotta pick up one at some point. But yeah, hopefully we'll do better next time. But without further ado, let's get into it. And hey, if you enjoy this type of content, be sure to smash that like button, comment down below. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Subscribe to the channel and hit that bell for notifications so you'll miss a single minute of the fun. All right, well, we're getting into it. We said we ran Gallantmon. We have our Digi Eggs down here. You can see I ran 3 of the EX3, 2 of the BT12. I don't really, like the draw is nice. I don't really know if I care about the 1000 DP inheritable. I honestly maybe just run 4 of that. I'm not 100% sure, but I definitely like this a little bit more than this. But it really didn't matter. I mean, sometimes the draw can be nice, but sometimes you can't chance that you're going to draw into the card you need in order to do your play. You just got to do the best play possible. So I would say that either option is good. You can run 3-2 split. You can run 4 of one, 4 of another. I don't think it matters. You can run 4 of one and 1 of another. I really don't think it matters. But getting into the main deck, we are running 4 of the Gallantmon Searcher EX2. This card's really good. Heritable, really good. I think I would keep this at 4. If at most, I might cut it down to 3. Definitely keeping the Gallantmon X antibody at 4. This card's really good. The memory gain is just so good. Being able to search out your X antibodies and your pieces is just so good. And just having another, you can put him on your Digimon if you have to. He's still a better inheritable overall. So I definitely think you need to keep 4 Gallantmon X antibodies. I might cut a Gallantmon EX2. I would like to run one of the Warp Gallantmon from the starter deck. I think that card is actually very good. And just so you don't have to have all that tamer set up. Especially because you can start turn with 4 memory easily with this deck sometimes. So yeah, there's that. And then we have the Gallantmon from BT17. I like the DP inheritable, but I'm going to like the DP inheritable on the BT9 one more. So this card is literally just a holdover for BT9, 19's version. So I could definitely see dropping one of this for, just having one of that and dropping one of that for the Warp Gallantmon. The Rush Gallantmon's really great. I probably would like to have another copy in the deck, but space is tight, so we'll see what happens. I would like to bump this up and actually have 12 rookies. I did have one time where I couldn't draw into any rookie, actually 2 times I think in the day where I couldn't draw into a rookie, so I would like a minimum of 12. I was hoping 11 would be enough. The one thing is you don't have a lot of low cost, like level 4s, so I definitely think 12 is probably a better number than the 11, so I'm going to have to make room for that. The reason I was only running 11 was because I had an extra one of these in here. I wanted to run 2 of this and 2 of this and 2 of that instead of like 3 of one and not the other. But honestly, I do not like the BT12 War Growlmon as much as like playing a tamer for free is so much fun. You have other ways to play tamers, and sometimes just slapping down a tamer at the end of your turn is just better in this deck. I feel like this card is not that great. The plus 2000 does not come up that much, and it's only on your turn until we get the BT19 version that lets you play out at least more than one Tocado. I would almost cut this completely, I'm thinking, and play more of this Growlmon personally. And then, you know, I like this card. I'm not sure if 3 is where I like it. I definitely think 2 minimum, because I do think it's important. It's really, really good. So I haven't decided on this one completely yet. So I could potentially cut this down to 2, play a third one of this, because I do love the Gallantmon X-Antibody, and it just kind of sucks when you have this in hand and this in hand, because you got to choose one or the other, basically, if you don't have one of these guys. And it's mostly probably going to be this choice, because then this is more costly that way. But it's both are good, so I mean, you know, I do definitely think 3 of this is really good, and at least a 2 of that. Just the on deletion and the being able to set up your War Growl here to mill total 5 and then play a Tocado for free is super important. And then this card is good because this card is better with the War Gallantmon X-Antibody, because this one you want to be able to warp into the Gallant straight away. It's just better if you don't have anything to blow up. I mean, if you have tons of memory and you have a opponent's Digimon to pop with that one, then go ahead, you know, don't Digivolve with that, go into this guy, but it's just less likely you're going to be in that scenario. So I like the ultimate ratio perfectly fine. I think this card is super, super good. I don't think I would change it. I used it so much in the game, and just being able to set up your trash and stuff like that's really, really good. So I do like this kind of ratio laid out here. The Gallantmon ratio feels pretty good. I might cut a Crimson mode, because I just don't feel like Crimson mode's really good if you can blitz. If you can blitz for game, Crimson mode's really good if you can blitz for game. It doesn't always happen. I just don't know if it's a 2 of. I might, you know, like I want a Protoform in here, and I could cut it for a Protoform, or I could cut it for another BT13 Gallant. Because honestly, sometimes getting enough Gallants in hand, if you can't get the X-Antibody in hand for this guy, I definitely think there either needs to be, I either need to have a Protoform or another Gallant, just to make this a little bit more consistent. Tamer ratio is perfect. Wouldn't change a thing until we get the raid Tocado. That's perfect. I love it just like that. Offense training. I do like offense training. I do like it a lot. I don't know if I really love it enough to have 4 copies. This is where I could see, you know, cutting down to 3 to, you know, put other stuff in the deck. And same with Scramble. Like, I really like Scramble. I do like it at 2, but I just don't know if you have the space in this deck, and maybe that's what I need to cut for that Protoform. And then, of course, X-Antibody itself, you need those 2 copies at least. And like I said, Protoform would be nice in this deck too. So we'll, you know, especially if you don't have anything to pop, and a lot of time you can get up your line. Say you use an offense training, go into Growlmon, go into Growl X for free, go into War Growl, and you had 3 memory. Or even play a Scramble to go into 2 to maintain turn. And then you don't have, you know, the 1 memory to go into this guy, but with Protoform you do, and in case you don't have anything to delete, and then you can still go up into the Gallantmon and potentially, you know, attack with. So yeah, it's good. Or even go into your X-Antibody from a Gallantmon with the Protoform. So that's good too. So both are solid options, but that's how I'm feeling about the deck. There's definitely some changes need to be made. I did have fun, like I said. It was, you know, uphill battles most of the time. There's a few matches that just felt hopeless, but we'll get into that next here. So we started off with a bye because my opponent didn't show up in round 1. So. And you know what's fun about that is like, oh, sweet, I get the first match for free. But at the same time, it almost feels it's better to play the first match and win, because then or even lose, because then at that point you get some, you know, you start playing in the day, and you know you're thinking and your brain's kind of activated, and you're like, okay, I'm ready to play cards. We go into round 2 and you're fresh and you're dry, and your opponent's just like, I've been playing for 40 minutes, and I'm like, I'm just gonna YOLO. And yeah, so I do like I like no-shows later on more so than like as a break, rather than if you're going to get a no-show at the beginning. That can be detrimental, actually. Round 2, I mirror matched. I got completely slammed game 1. Didn't draw a single level 3 until it was way too late. That was one of the games where the level 3s failed me. And then, interestingly enough, game 2, if I hadn't played the Scrambles that long, so I hadn't really known how to play them. I didn't have a Guillemon in my hand, and basically I needed a Guillemon to be able to play to warp into Rush Gallantmon to win the game. because I had a stack that basically could take. I had a Gallantmon X stack, which would take away all my opponent's security, but I didn't have enough attacks to clear the last check, to clear the game. He was going to have advantage on his next turn with a Tocado to warp and just basically get me back. So I knew that I had to finish it that turn, and unfortunately I did not use the scramble at the start of the turn to put the Guillemon on top of the deck, or to even just play. I don't think I could have played the Guillemon, but I could have at least put the Guillemon on top of the deck, drawn into it off of that ability, and then had the Guillemon for my play, so that I could have won the game and warped into the Rush Gallantmon. I had the Blitz Tocado, so I mean that would have been fine. So I misplayed hard, and that was due to my lack of knowledge on Red Scramble. I really feel the Scrambles are very, very skill-based cards, being the fact that you have to activate them at the start of your turn before you've even drawn. And then that draw, depending if you play a free searcher, you're basically just searching into that card unless of course it's something you can't search into. So you got to be really careful about what you're doing with the scramble cards. They're very, very skill based, I would say. The first part of them, not so much. You just digivolve for reduced cost. Then of course I got 2-0'd in that match. Round 3, I got 2-0'd by Purple Hybrid. He just went off twice in a row, had all his pieces. I didn't have all my pieces, and he just, I couldn't, if I had to put something on the board and couldn't get up all the way, he was just blowing up my stuff. So that was unfortunate. I couldn't get around that. And then, and he was just turboing hard, getting the Ukos, getting the Duskmons, and just gaining advantage. And then really just gaining memory super fast so that he could just OTK, put stuff like Ginkakumon on the board and just OTK. So he had, it was the games were over in no time. So Purple Hybrid's still really great. It's probably the deck I should have played today, honestly, because I have more experience playing that deck. But I really love Gallantmon. I wanted to play it just because I'm loving the new stuff. Round 4, I went 2-0 against Nightmare Soldiers. I mean, Nightmare Soldiers is not that much competitive of a deck. It was cool. It was interesting. It wasn't that difficult. There was a couple cards he put out that I really had to think my way around, but other than that, the deck had a lot of outs to that. Round 5, I went 2-0 again to Bloomlord. Bloomlord, oh my gosh, that deck with Medieval Gallantmon and all the other cards and for Quantummon, just so many tech cards, high-end tech cards, I think he even had I think when he was searching plants, he had Cherubimon Ace in there. So the deck has so much stuff in it that's just not high-end, that's not plant other than Bloomlord. And it's just crazy to see, especially since the deck draws so much, it digivolves so much, and for reduced cost, playing the Mimis, gaining memory for suspending stuff. It just, the first round I thought it was in a pretty good place, but him just being able to suspend with Palmon X after using Palmon to give me the lose 2 memory when something's suspended means I can't put anything on board unless I'm waiting to go big. And then turn 1 he just destroyed the stack I was building. Game 1, and then game 2 I thought I was going to fight back. I cleared his board I cleared a board of 3+ monsters 2 times, and that did absolutely nothing against his deck. He just kept going off and off and off and off. And honestly, what I wouldn't say, if you're going to play this deck against Bloomlord, you need to OTK as fast as you can and ignore whatever they have on the board. Just kill everything as fast as you can. That's the only thing you can do. So yeah, unfortunately, that's where you got to be with Bloomlord. It's actually quite good, and I'm actually starting to hate Medieval Gallantmon because I just feel like it's just it's like the new Rune mode or the new Death Axemon. Of course, after Bloomlord, round 6. I went one. I lost again. We only went through one match, and it was against 7 Demon Lords. Went into time on game 2. I didn't think it was going good for me in game 2. I just wasn't drawing that great of hands. And it's so hard to go up against his deck. Everything you hit is a floodgate. Every time you destroy something, and if you have to destroy something, it usually ends up badly for you. That deck punishes you for destroying things, and that's all this deck does. So, like, I think 7 Demon Lords is actually a very hard matchup against this deck. So, yeah, be careful. That's where the Crimson modes can come in handy if you had them. And then, of course, round 7, I did a tie to another mirror match. I should have won this one in time. I basically had the game. I just needed a minute left to play out my last combo in time to win the game. So I should have had the win, but we tied. And partly that was because I just had a really bad hand. Either game, I think it was game 2 or 3. Like, I had to put down a War Growl. An 8-cost War Growl was my best move. It was just not that great. And then managed to Digivolve into an X-Antibody. I didn't not think that was going to happen. I thought I was dead in that match, but at least I got a tie there. But I technically should have had the win. And then round 8, I got smashed by Red Hybrid. He just went off really fast. I couldn't go as fast as he could. Like, again, red decks be all turbo. The faster you can kill your opponent, the better. And this deck has actually a lot more setup than Red Hybrid, I think, for to turbo out. So that's something, unfortunately, I got to think about in regards to the next Ultimate Cup. Am I going to run this deck? Am I going to go back to something like Purple Hybrid or something else? Not sure if I definitely want to keep playing this deck and getting better with it. But I think that there is still some problems with this deck. In terms, I mean, you can fix it with certain things, like I could be playing the starter deck Gallantmons for more memory gain, stuff like that. Maybe I need to get away from the EX3 Gallant and not care so much about playing Tamers for free, or maybe I should put more into this one for my free Tamer play. We'll have to see what happens, but that is the battle report, guys. Tell me what you guys think. What did you think of the build? Did you think it was decent? Do you think I should have made a lot of different changes? And what do you think about the tournament results? We're going to have another battle report for you guys in a couple weeks when we do the other Ultimate Cup. And then I'm not going to be in any tournaments until April because that's the only online one that they've done so far. So this is our kind of end to the 2024 season because these are holdovers from the 2024 lineup. So tell me what you guys think, as always, and looks like that's all the time we have for this video. Thank you very much for tuning in. Hope to see you in the next video. And that's all for now, folks.